You ready for combat, Dave? We're in combat now.
Every day.
Just assessing where you guys are with LSU coming in. They're not the same kind of LSU they don't look like.
Well, we've been playing pretty well. We played pretty well at Kentucky. Midweek game, okay. I think that, we're starting to get some guys healthy on the mound. For the most part, we're healthy in the field. So, just another SEC series the way we look at it. We talk about it right before conference starts every year. They all count as one win or one loss at the end of the year. So we're just going to, try to go out and play well like we've been doing.
What's it like having a complete bullpen for a change?
Well, it's almost complete. Vermillion, his arm's just about right, and then he tweaked his hamstring. So, if it's not one thing, it's another. It's just the way it works in athletics, I think. And but it's nice getting Scruggs back. He threw well last weekend, and Kostichak threw well, I felt like. And the more we have out there, the better, obviously.
So Vermillion's questionable, or
yeah. I don't know how big a question it is.
So, would he even be on the roster?
I don't know yet. He is going to practice, though, so I don't know.
What do you make of where LSU is right now?
I don't know. I don't worry about everybody else's team. It's like I tell our guys before every series as well. The other team is what they are. We try to help them with what we think they're going to do against us and maybe how to pitch them or how to defend them. But for the most part, it's really about our team, and I just want us to go out there and play well.
Do you pay attention at all to what you guys haven't been able to do against them, or does that not even matter with the difference?
Well, obviously they've had our number the last few years. That's statistically, you can look at that. So, but it's a new year, so that's what we like about it.
This being your final home series, what's the biggest area of growth you've seen from your team this season?
Well, I just think the new guys, the guys that were either on the team last year that didn't play a whole lot, maybe they were in backup roles, or some of the guys that are new in our program, I just think they've really come a long way. They wanted to write their own legacy, so to speak. They wanted to show that, last year's team was good, but, they can do it as well. And I think the team is really bonded. It seems like the team really likes each other and plays hard for each other. It's been fun to watch. It's been a really fun team to be around, and, hopefully we can keep it going.
Statistically, you guys have scored more runs, less home runs, but you've run more. Has that been a big key to that, is, the doubles that you guys have and the ability to run?
What we do is last year we hit singles and home runs. This year we hit some doubles, a lot of doubles, and still hit some home runs, still hit singles obviously, but been able to manufacture some runs here and there when maybe last year we didn't have the right personnel to do that, whether we're advancing runners with a hit and run or we seem like we've gotten a lot of sac flies at certain times of the year, but just being able to run an offense, being able to steal, read balls in the dirt and run and get in scoring position. And, we've done a pretty good job for the most part driving them in.
Dave, do you guys have extra motivation against LSU? Can you kind of play the underdog card? Because you're ranked a lot higher, you got a better record, you're leading the division, but they beat you eight straight years in the series.
Well, those are things that I really can't control. I don't feel like that we look at this series much different than any other. I think it's more for the fans, to be honest with you. We were worried about going to Kentucky last week, and a team that got off to a great start at the beginning of the year and has personnel, has a great pitcher in Thompson, a couple other big arms, and it just hasn't happened. You can look around the league and see the same thing with maybe South Carolina and some of these other schools. These are schools that were ranked in the top 25 preseason. It's what we talk about. Day one, the league's tough. They all count the same. LSU, they have a lot of tradition, but there's a lot of teams in this league that have a lot of tradition, and they can beat you if you don't play well. Where we are in the standings, I haven't talked to our team about it one time this year, not one time. And, we're just playing. The only thing that I've ever talked about is, we got a couple weeks left in the season and we'll be at the tournament. But other than that, not what we got to do, who we got to beat, who's got to do what. We're not even looking at that. We just want to play well Thursday and then go from there.
Finals over. I know that's got to be a big relief for you guys. And getting back out here, how important is today's workout to kind of get?
Yeah, it's a big relief for the players. Even if we didn't have finals this week, I might have given them 2 days off. We lifted on Monday, going to lift again today, Wednesday. just try to keep them strong. We've been doing that with this team. It's not like we play a lot of different people. So guys need to get their rest. We've talked about it with them. They got to eat right. They got to get sleep. Now that they know they don't have to get up and go to class, take tests, it should be a fun time of year for them. And I think that, most of the guys feel a lot of relief.
Dave, I'm not sure if they've announced their rotation. Have they said Hilliard?
Yeah, I've got Hilliard. Going Thursday is what we were told. And he had a good outing last week against Ole Miss, who obviously is a very good hitting team, and he held them down. I think they beat him 8-3 was the final. So he's got a good breaking ball. It's got downward action. Fastball's 90 miles an hour, and another good pitcher. We just have to do a good job, and we get a shot to score. We got to score.
Their ability to score and hit home runs, I mean, the way they came back in the ninth with 2 outs, I mean, how much do you have to kind of watch out for what they can do if they get the bats?
I mean, they got hot. You got to give them credit. They got an infield hit and a couple singles and then 3 home runs in a row. I mean, it happens. It's very rare that happens, but when they're at home, it seems like crazy things happen like that, And I mean, we're pretty much aware of that whenever we play anybody, that the game's not over until you get that last out. And if any team should know, it's us. So, we talk about that. It takes 27. If it's tied, it takes more. So we got to finish and don't take anything for granted. Just, get that last out.
What's Scroggins' role going to be going forward?
Well, going forward this weekend, he's going to be out of the bullpen. But, it doesn't mean that he's not going to start one day. We only threw him about 30 pitches the other last weekend, and he really didn't want to come out of the game. He had 4 strikeouts of the 4 outs he got, but he also, I think he hit a batter and walked a batter in that second inning. So we were just taking care of him, trying to build him back up. But, when it gets to the point where he can go 40, 50, 60 pitches, we could put him back in the starter role if we need to.
Dave, what do you think of the job Opitz did last week controlling the running game, throwing guys out, and the job he's done with that all season?
Well, he's been really, really good back there. He just has a real good feel for what hitters are thinking, where they're standing on the plate. We give him some options as far as calling pitches. He calls a lot of zone pitches. We ask him what he sees. But just, catching and throwing, I think he's been as good as anybody as we've played against this year. And this past weekend in Kentucky, he threw out a couple of straight steal guys, threw out a hit and run, swing and miss, and he threw out, it seemed like a couple more that were balls in the dirt that, bounced off of him a little bit, and they got a quick read on it, and he still threw him out. So he had a great weekend behind the plate, but he's really had a great year defensively all year for us.
And then you're obviously predominantly right-handed pitching, and it's a little hard for righties to hold guys on, but that doesn't seem to slow Casey down when it comes to throwing.
Yeah, a lot of teams anyway on lefties, they'll go first movement, so it's kind of a guessing game to pick or not. Right-handers, our pitchers are fairly quick to the plate for the most part. They give him an opportunity to throw people out if, unless they just get an incredible jump. But, the key for him is quickness in his release, and he's been very accurate. His arm strength is average at best. Everything else is above average.
Besides, you said a quick release. Well, what else makes him really good at throwing guys out?
He's accurate. I mean, he throws the ball on the bag for the most part. Very rarely does he throw it, off one way or the other. It may be a little high or maybe even skip down there, but it's usually straight on the bag. And if the infielder can make a play, he usually does.
Cook was so good, and he was a high draft pick. I know Casey was good, but it seems like he's been as good or maybe even better behind there than Grant.
He's a different type of catcher than Grant. Grant was had good hands and blocked well. Casey's more of a high energy guy, quick twitch guy. One of the best, if not the best receiver I've ever coached.
And then by the way, I'm asking these questions for somebody else who couldn't make it here. Conversely, LSU hadn't done a very good job stopping the running game. You guys have some good team speed. How do you think that could play into this weekend?
Well, it's something like that. It's pitch to pitch. Teams have stole, I think, 61 out of 71 bags on them this year. So it's a combination of good timing by the other team on picking pitches to run. Is it a good pitch for the catcher to throw on? I mean, a lot of that adds up as a pitcher quick to the plate. It's just we got to pick and choose. We got to be smart about it. And if we don't get a jump, we won't run. And I can give the steal sign. Our guys don't have to go. If they don't feel good about their jump, I don't want them to run because the chance of making it probably less than 50% there. If they get a good jump, I think they got a good opportunity to run on anybody. So there's a lot of freedom there with our base runners.
You and Coach Mary, both two of the 9 active coaches with over 1,000 wins in your career. What sort of professional relationship do you have with him?
I think Paul and I have a really good relationship. You know, we talk in the off season probably 2 or 3 times, maybe talking about player personnel or, you know, how fall went or, you know, different things. You know, we've coached against each other many a time, and I think we're a little bit alike in some ways, the way we run our team. So, you know, I think he'd probably tell you the same thing. You know, we have a good relationship.
What was that 1,000th win like? I know you've got over 1,200, but does it matter at all?
I didn't even know. So I got on the bus, turned on my phone, and had a couple of text messages and didn't really know what was going on. Then I kind of put 2 and 2 together because I'd already won over 1,000 games as a head coach. That included junior college and a year at the Division II level, and kind of figured it out. But, hey, it just means a couple things. I've had a lot of good players, and I'm getting older.
You guys have Snickers and apples between games?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't have to do that this weekend. Weather's going to look good. I think it's going to hold off.